step, something in my jeans. FOI, you know that's the team, huh?
Peace. This is your brother Aidan X, and welcome to the processing class. Peace. This is brother Aidan X, and welcome to the processing class. Today I got a very, very special guest, brother from Las Vegas. You already know we rep in Las Vegas, Mod 75. So I had to get somebody down here where I'm at. So we got brother Richard X. Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Walaikum salam, my brother. I appreciate you, bringing me on to your show, giving me opportunity, learn a little bit more about me. And we appreciate the great work that you're doing for our nation and, spreading this information to our people, man. We appreciate you, God, for real.
All praises due to Allah. The first question I want to ask you, brother, is how did you get the teachings? Were you born in the Nation of Islam? Did you get it through, coming to the mosque? How did you get the teachings?
So growing up, my oldest brother was a Muslim, and he kind of got into it. He read the Malcolm X autobiography, and he became a big follower of like Brother Khalid Muhammad, and so he would debate a lot of Christian preachers around the city. So I used to go to all his debates, and I never seen him lose one, and I never seen him disprove anything that he had to say. So he kind of brought me in, learning a little bit more about Islam, and I was always super curious. I was big on math. When I was growing up, my mom was a math teacher, and I was, always really good at math growing up. And he used to teach me about all the mathematical miracles in the Quran. So that really intrigued me about Islam, and and I knew that it made sense. I knew it was something that I could believe in because it made sense. And fast forward, growing up, I always listened to the minister, here and there. When my first year playing professionally overseas basketball, I was playing in Israel, and I had a lot of time on my hands because of the time difference. A lot of my friends and family weren't awake, so all I would do was watch YouTube videos of the minister. And I really I watched everything, like literally every video that was on YouTube, I watched it. And to the point where every morning I would wake up, I would see what videos were downloaded in the last 24 hours so I could watch another video. And I knew when I got home, it was time for me to be able to, join the nation and really put myself in a position to really want to get this information to our people, because I already knew the need of it, and it was just my time at that time to be able to do it.
Yes, sir. What was the thing that made you say, all right, I'm going to go register? Because,
Right.
A lot of people get the teachings and they may do what they want with it. Right. Or, they may apply it or do what they want. But what made you say, man, I'm going to go register and get this X?
I just feel like, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said you can't be a Muslim without a community. And I wanted to be in that environment. I knew it was important for me to be able to grow. I needed that accountability. I needed to be around other believers to be able to, put myself in the best position to live the life of a Muslim, which is not easy here in America. But, I knew I needed that structure. And it was, it was just my time. I just felt it in my heart that it was time for me to make that jump. And Allah was pushing me towards that, and you feel it, when it's your time.
Yes, sir. And you're in Las Vegas, right?
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. How is it, trying to practice righteousness as it is the definition of being a Muslim? How is it trying to strive to be a striving Muslim in a place that's considered Sin City?
Good question. It's really about who you surround yourself with. So in the Quran, it teaches us that, take your friends for the believer, take believers as friends. And once you, surround yourself in that environment, and you put yourself around that type of environment, the things that are around you that are not a part of what you believe in don't even exist. Like for the Muslims that live here, like the strip to me doesn't even exist because it's not a part of my lifestyle. Gambling and what's going on in that nightlife is no longer a part of my lifestyle. I know that's going to take me away from, what I believe in. And I really believe in our righteousness is what's gonna sustain us during this hour. And and if it's not about righteousness, I don't really want to be a part of it. I don't want to put myself in that environment, and and stray away from the teachings. Am I perfect? Absolutely not. But I know if I can keep away from the things that I don't believe in, I'm gonna have a better chance of living the life of a Muslim.
Yes, sir. You said the nightlife is no longer, something that's part of your life. What were you before you registered in Nation Islam? We hear about some brothers come from crime, some brothers just come from partying, or just some brothers even just come from ignorance.
Right.
So what did you look like before you not only received the teachings, but started to apply it in your life?
I came from being an athlete. I was a, Massachusetts basketball player of the year. I was college. I was first team all Big 12. I was set to go to the NBA, and I was in that lifestyle. My brother played in the league, so I was around him, AI, Mello, and I was around those guys a lot. But it was never in my heart to be a part of that lifestyle. I never liked, how that lifestyle looked. I didn't like how it felt. I knew it wasn't right for me, and honestly, it was a blessing that I didn't make it to the NBA, because then I'm gonna be around that lifestyle all the time, and sometimes you don't have the strength to stray away from it at certain times unless you build yourself up. But I was on the scene. I was with the homies doing things, going out, partying. It wasn't like I was doing that every day, but I was just living life. But once I kind of got married, had children, got settled, you know started really getting myself into these teachings, I was no longer desiring that lifestyle anymore. I knew it wasn't good.
Yes, sir. For the young brothers watching this, they may be living that lifestyle, and not to condemn, but
Right.
What would you say to them that say, well, this is fun. Going out is fun. Sleeping around with different is fun. Partying, all that is fun.
Right.
What is fun in the Nation of Islam if I'm registering into the nation? Do the brothers in the Nation of Islam have fun? Do you have fun personally being an FOI?
Yeah, absolutely. Brother Neri, he said it like this, you can go on a roller coaster, but they strap you down to keep you safe while you're having fun. So the teachings and what we believe in is to help you while you're having fun, to keep you from getting yourself hurt, getting yourself injured, putting yourself in a predicament that's going to be bad for you. So the restrictive law in Islam is like that strap that you put on while you go on a roller coaster. It's not going to stop you from having fun, but it's going to put you in a position to have fun while being safe and putting yourself in the right situation that God will be pleased with. So absolutely, I don't feel restricted in what we do, but it allows for us to make sure what we're doing and we're having fun, we're doing it the right way, and we're not going to put ourselves in harm's way while we do it.
Yes, sir. Earlier you was talking about, the pressures of being around, certain people that's doing differently than you deeply inside feel. What would you say to those that, may hear Farrakhan and they may hear the messenger and they may hear the teachings, but they're scared of, oh, I'm going to be looked upon as being soft. Oh, I'm going to be looked upon as this. Oh, what would you tell people that's dealing with that, the pressure of, fitting in?
Right. Are you here to please them? Or are you here to please God? Who do you want to, who would you rather have on your side? These people that in the world, or you want the supreme being on your side? So you have to make that choice. And once you make that choice, the people around you are going to understand, and now you can be a light to them as well too. But there's nothing soft about being righteous. It's actually the hardest thing that you could ever do. It's easy to go out there and honestly and be in the street and do that kind of stuff. That's kind of easy. There's nothing really required from you to do that. And it's really just, putting yourself in a position that's, death in itself. But really striving to live a righteous life, man, it's not easy, and that's the real fight that we have to deal with, is that internal fight. And and you in that position long enough, you're gonna see that there's no life there. You're gonna see your friends that you grew up with not around anymore because of that lifestyle. You're gonna see family members being destroyed because of that lifestyle, and then you're gonna hate it. And then you're gonna look. You have nowhere else to look. When all else fails, that's when Islam comes into your life. And so either you're gonna do it by choice, or you're gonna do it because you have no other choice. So um, I think we should all take a deeper look into it. And I think that one of the things that people have about the nation and Muslims in general is that they feel like we're too clean. We feel like we're too this and too that, too disciplined, and they don't feel like they can be a part of that now. You hear things like, "Let me clean up first," but how you gonna clean yourself up by being in the mud? You can't clean yourself up out there. You got to clean yourself up in here. And everybody that you're around has a past. And if you learn a lot of the past history of the people, man, they did it all, seen it all, and nobody comes into this thing, dropping down from heaven. We all crawled up out of hell, and that's why the teachings work, and that's why Honorable Elijah Muhammad was raised up for us, because he came from the mud of the mud. He said the only thing that was up was his eyeballs out of the mud, and Allah cleaned him up, and he can do that for anybody that's wants to put in the work and willing to put in that effort to kind of and stay connected to who we are.
Yes, sir. If I register into the Nation of Islam, can I still have fun? Can I still play basketball? Can I still listen to rap music? Can I still have fun, go to the arcades and do things like that? Or must I just always do what people necessarily just boring,
Right.
just post it up all day?
Absolutely not. As long as it doesn't conflict with your religion, have at it. Um, we have fun all the time. I got 4 daughters. We go to the arcades. We do this. We do that. And, as long as it's within righteousness, Allah desires ease for the believers. He doesn't believe in giving hardship onto the believers. But if you're going out drinking and doing things like that, you're doing hardship to your body. You may not know what that's going to lead to. You may do something that day that you may regret. You know what I'm saying? A lot of things happen that Allah wants to prevent in our life through the restrictive laws of Islam. And, and the more we run from it, the more difficult our life is going to be. It may seem fun in the moment, but the long-term effect of those things is going to, bring us closer to the grave. And our job and the job of the Messiah is to give us life and more abundantly. And if we want that, then we have to, put ourselves in a position to, follow the laws that God put down for us to be able to follow. And it's fun. I'm not bored at all. I don't feel like I'm missing anything. I still hoop. I play professionally. The minister's grandson played professionally as well too. Mustafa Jr., a good friend of mine. So, and the minister watched him play. You know what I mean? And the minister watches sports and does all that thing. But if that's your God, then it's something different. If you live for that rather than living for God, then that's where it becomes detrimental, because now you set up a God besides God. Now you're doing polytheism. So Islam always has to be out front, and then everything else comes behind that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. Great answers. What would you say to people that's watching this and may be like, man, I'm a real nigga, man. Might as well get it in before I die. Or I'm a bad beat, man. Might as well get it in before I die, because you only live once. So what would you say to people that have that mindset?
Yeah, but you just have to learn the knowledge of yourself and who you really are. And once you learn about who you really are and why we're here in the position that Allah wants to put us in as a people, then your mindset will start to shift, because we only feel like that because we don't feel like we're nothing anyway. Our life doesn't mean anything. But once you know that your life means something and you have value, then you're going to value yourself. You're not going to put yourself in a position that's going to bring death to you, and to your community and to the people around you. And especially in the time that we're living in right now, we're living in the time of separation. We're living in a time where Allah wants to exalt us to that position. And for us to be exalted to that position, we have to make changes. And it starts with how we view ourselves. And it's when we view ourselves better once we learn who we really are and whose we are. And once we get that value, you're going to run from death. You want to run towards life.
Yes, sir. How is being in the Nation of Islam or being an FOI, being an MGT, studying the teachings, how is this going to better the Black community? How is this going to advance the Black community farther? Just the bean pies and bow ties, as many people would say. How is that helping us?
Man, because obviously, first of all, we got to come to the conclusion that what we've been doing is not working. What the direction that we've been going has not worked for us as a community, meaning that we have to make a change. That's the first thing we have to realize. Second thing is that we have to realize that the things that are trapping us in this position that we're in right now, economically, because we don't have any businesses that we can call our own, we can, give our people jobs, put people in a position to have income. The religious system that was put on us that has us looking in the sweet by and by to have heaven while we give other people heaven. So we got to look at the religious system as well too. Morally, we have to put ourselves in a position morally. How many funerals do we have to go to? How many people do we have to lose? How many families are have to be broken up? How much death and destruction do we have to watch before it becomes sickening to us to be able to even be a part of that type of life, man? And people are dissatisfied now. So when you're dissatisfied, you're seeking something that can satisfy you. And once you learn and truly understand the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, you understand Islam, and you learn about that man in our midst, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, you're going to start to see that what the program that they have for us works. You may not like it yet, but the Quran says you may like a thing that's bad for you, but you may hate a thing that's good for you. So sometimes you have to run towards it, even though you may not like it, understand it yet. But if you see that it works, you may want to take a deeper look. So I encourage everybody, that's listening, that's interested, go to your local mosque, take a deeper look in it, because obviously you can see the change in the people that are a part of it, even if it's your family or the people around you. So definitely take a deeper look into it.
Yes, sir, man. Good answer. I'm talking to you right now, man. I see them books in the background. Many people may say, man, why the hell I gotta read, man? Hey, man, that stuff boring. Man, hurt my eyes, man. I can't focus. So why read? Because we see a lot of people, registered, man. They read the Holy Quran. They read Message to the Black Man. All of these things they quoting from. But why read? Why can't I just get this information from my brother that I already got it? Why do the reading and the studying myself?
Because Allah put something in you that's not in anybody else. And he puts a message in there for you that's going to hit you a different way than anybody else. It's not just when you read books as deep as that. And when you understand, when you read in the Holy Quran that it is the words of the Supreme Being, and you look into it like that, there's going to be levels that you go through every time you read it. And there's going to be specific things in your life right now that you're going to read that's going to hit you. Because what may hit me right now may not hit you, because we're at different positions in our life. So once we take on that understanding for ourselves, it's going to hit you and guide you in the way you need to be guided at that time. And reading, people don't like to read and things. I'm not a big reader, by the way, as well, but I do read, but because it's a muscle in your brain and you haven't exercised that muscle. If you go to the weight room and you ain't lifted weights ever, you can't. Yeah, of course it's going to hurt. It's going to not feel good in the beginning, but as you start to exercise that muscle, you start to get more understanding, and you start to see yourself being able to change and think on a higher level. And us being God's ourselves, your natural self wants to seek knowledge and seek understanding and to put yourself at a higher level. So that's what's going to come out of you once you start to be able to read and really put yourself in a position that, it's going to put you at a higher level mentally.
Yes, sir. Did the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan or the Honorable Elijah Muhammad or the teachings period, did it teach you to hate white people?
No, and I don't hate white people. I would be lying if I said that white folks haven't helped me get to different positions in my life. when I left California, I got recruited to go to a boarding school in Massachusetts that was 98% white. And I was able to, learn a lot about them, and they learned a lot about us, because none of them, a lot of times, they haven't even been around black people a lot of times. So I would be lying if I said I didn't get help and I didn't have help from white people to get to the position that I had. So I can't hate them, but I do understand that even though some of them helped me, it doesn't negate the fact that what their people did to our people has to be accounted for. Our fathers being here for 400 years and not having an ounce of freedom has to be accounted for. And them doing something for me doesn't necessarily mean that they love our people. They can help an individual and still, those things have to be accounted for. But at the end of the day, I want to see our people rise, and that's why I love the nation. It's not about others; it's about us putting ourselves in our natural position, as gods, and putting ourselves in the position to be the leaders again. And for being down so long, and the Bible says the bottom rail is going to become the top rail. So that's what I'm here for. I'm not here to hate anybody else, because that's not going to do anything anyway. The vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. So it's not our job to, judge anybody and to do that vengeance. Our job is to get an understanding and to know what time we're living in, what we need to be doing during this time period. And I don't get that from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, that he hates any people.
Not even Jews.
Absolutely not. And the people that he's talking about when they say he hates Jews are not even Jews at all. Those are the people that use things that happen to Jewish people for their own favor. Like, okay, the Jews went through this, and that, so I'm gonna use that to sympathize, and I can use that as a shield to me to be able to go do things that are unrighteous. And I played in Israel for 2 years. So I understand a little bit about, their history, a little bit about, who they are, and, and they don't get a pass just because they're Jewish for them not to be criticized by other people. And that's what people fear, is that, if I say anything about what they've done to the Palestinians, I'm gonna get censored. Or if I say something about, some of the things that they've done here in America, the position that some of them played in slavery, in financing the slave ships and things like that, that's not hate, because that's just us learning about ourselves and knowing about you. And you don't call it hate towards the Germans when you mention Nazis and this and that, and all the time that you said you were enslaved by these different people. Is that hate? No, it's not hate. It's just learning the facts. You know what I mean? And sometimes when you're exposing truth, and the people that have been hiding truth are not going to like it. So we're not really worried about that too much, because we know who the real Jews are. We know who the true chosen people are. So and we have to teach our people on that, whether they like it or not.
Yes, sir. Can you give just a little bit of that knowledge of self that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan teach about, for those that may be watching that may, just think of themselves as a nigger, or may just think of themselves as a dog, or,
right,
or a gangster, just, one of the homies, or a bad bee. Can you just go into depth of just a little bit of the knowledge of self that the nation teaches?
So, the nation teaches us root knowledge. So the first thing we got to understand is who the original man is, and who Allah is. And we're taught that Allah is the Asiatic black man, the maker, the owner, the cream of the planet Earth, God of the universe. And in the Bible, it teaches us that we're made after God's image and after his likeness, meaning that we look like God and we should be acting like God. We have that ability to be a God. So once you know who you are and where you come from, then everything else makes sense. Because if you see yourself on such a low level, that's how you're going to act. But once you learn about who you really are, when you learn that we're the original people, when you learn what we contributed to civilization, how we gave civilization to the world, when you learn about our true history, that's where you start to be able to build that self-worth and self-love. And that's where it starts. And once you love yourself, then you can love your brother and a sister that looks like you. Then you understand their condition. You can see past their faults into who they really are. And then you can learn how to be able to love our people. And once you love them, we can start to be able to unite. And once we're united, nothing can stop us, you know. So that's the mission of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan right there. And once we have that, man, you know, sky's the limit, man. And that's what the hereafter is going to look like.
Yes, sir. You know, there may be people watching this and they may agree with everything you're saying, but they may have the mindset of, oh, you know, but they're Muslim and I believe in Jesus. I'm Christian. So what would you say to those that are interested in the teachings, but they don't want to give up Jesus, or they don't want to give up Christianity, and they don't want to be called a Muslim? They want to stay because they was raised Christian. They was raised with Jesus. So what would you tell those that have that mindset?
You're not going to give up Jesus. You don't give up Jesus, but you're going to gain so much more understanding about who he really is and what his mission really is. So, you know, if you look up the word Christianity, if you have an online Bible, type in the word Christianity and see how many times it comes up in the Bible. It's 0 times. If you look up the word Judaism in the Bible, guess how many times it comes up? 0 times. So if it's never mentioned in the book that they say they believe in, we got to ask ourselves, where did it come from? And once you learn about, you know, the Conference of Nicaea, where Constantine had all his scholars put together and determine what's going to actually be in the book, what they're going to believe in, how they're going to have paganism in as a part of the religion, and bring those two things together to unite the people. Once you learn and really understand that, then you can start to really understand why Islam came to be, you know, why the Holy Quran had to be revealed. And, you know, and you have to understand language. Jesus never spoke English. You know, his name wasn't even Jesus. So who do you really believe in? The letter J just came into existence not too long ago. So who are you actually believing in? Who are you calling on? Are you calling on the God that Jesus called on in the scriptures? Jesus said of himself, I can do nothing. Whatever the Father bids me to say, that's what I say. Whatever he bids me to do, that's what I do. But if we just, you know, he was here to be able to lead us into the direction towards God. And once we stop there, we're really missing the whole entire point of why Jesus came to be. And, you know, so us as a Muslim just means someone, one who submits their will to do the will of God. And isn't that what Jesus taught? Is that what all the prophets taught? Is there one prophet that came to being that didn't teach us to follow the will of God, to follow the ways of God? All of them taught that. That's the religion of God. It's just that if you say it in the Arabic language, which is our original tongue, it's called Islam. It's called being a Muslim, one that is a person who actually follows that. So we have to get a better understanding of language, because that's how we've been tricked, is through language. So it teaches the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So, you know, you're not giving up nothing. You know, we love Jesus. We follow Jesus. We understand Jesus. And we're really trying to walk in his footsteps in the highways and byways to get this information to our people. But if you think about it like this, if the world is pushing you in a certain direction, and God said the love of this world is enmity with him, if everybody's pushing you in that direction, maybe you should look at, like, why is everybody pushing me towards this and they're telling me to hate that? If we're living in Satan's world right now, which the Bible says this is Satan's world, you know, you're not going to be condemned. Nobody's going to condemn you in this world by believing in what they tell you to believe in. But once you start going contrary to that, you know, that's where you start to see, you know, some friction. So you have to take a look at that, see if that mathematically makes sense to you. But our natural religion is Islam. And that's just being submissive to the will of God. That's it. You can say it in English if it makes you feel better for now. You know what? I'm just going to submit to do God's will, and we'll agree upon that.
Yes, sir.
But, you know, hope I was a little long-winded on that one. My bad, bro.
No, you know, you're fine, man. That's a great answer. I only got a couple more questions.
Yes, sir.
Can you just go into briefly, because we know that you do finance. You're a finance and insurance strategist.
Right.
Can you just go in shortly about why that's important? I know you could say a lot, but just go in shortly of why is finance important? Because I know me certainly, I was an all left student and math class was hard for me. So
right, you know, finance is something that they don't teach us in school, you know, and it's for a reason. But everybody on this planet pretty much is doing something to earn some type of money. But very rarely do people actually learn about what to do with their money. And you're working all of your life to get income for yourself. It just makes sense to spend a couple hours to learn about what to actually do with it, to actually plan. You know, we're taught that the black man writes his history in advance. You know, so if we want to make sure that our family and our situation is going to be taken care of financially, we have to plan for that. And if you don't plan for your money, somebody else is going to plan something for your money. So that's why I got into it. You know, I made good money playing basketball, but the more money I made, the more money I spent. I knew that wasn't the right way. So I looked at the information for myself and I learned, and I wanted to give that information to other people.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This is the last question.
Yes, sir.
What is your advice to people who's watching this? They may be depressed, or they may they may be playing pro basketball like you did. But they just, you know, they really looking for a purpose in life. They're really looking for God. So what would be your advice for them?
First thing is, I think we all could start off in doing this is learning how to be grateful first. In the Quran, God and the devil are having a conversation, and the devil tells God, you know, I'm going to make sure none of your people are going to be thankful. So he comes into our life by our ingratitude. So every time we wake up in the morning, every time we can eat, every time we can do anything, you know, we should feel gratitude for that. So once you start feeling gratitude for those little things, you know, it'll eliminate you being depressed, you know, because you know what, I may not have this, but I may not have all the money in the world, but I can see. And if you got to ask yourself, if somebody offered you $5 million today, but you couldn't see anymore, would that $5 million be worth it? And a lot of times it's not. So we got so many things that are invaluable right now that we have to be grateful for in order to get out of that depressive state. So we got to wake up being grateful and think about all the things that you're grateful for, even if you have to say it out loud. I think that's the first step. You know, and to find purpose in life, you got to find out, you know, what you're good at, and how does what you're good at in line with helping humanity become better. And once you can put those two things together and you're going in that direction, I think that's, you know, you'll find purpose in that, and ultimately to bring good to the world. And once you're able to do that, you know, that's where your purpose is going to be fulfilled at.
Yes, sir, man. I really appreciate you coming on your Little Brothers platform. And man, tell them your age, because we be thinking you in 18, 19 years old on here.
You know, I'm 36. I'll be 37, you know, this year.
That's not how to eat to live.
Man, how to eat to live, and, you know, and just, you know, striving to be righteous, man. And, you know, you eliminate those things out of your life. You know, Allah will give you that youth. You look at the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, turned 89, man, still looking like a young man, you know. So all praise is due to Allah for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And I love those two men, and I really encourage everybody, man, to get to know them for yourself and not what our enemy teaches us about them. Because honestly, once you know them, you're going to love them just like we do.
Yes, sir. Crazy. Man, brother, salam alaikum. I just want to thank you again for coming on here, brother. And if you in Las Vegas, you definitely got to hit on my 75, because this brother be teaching.
Appreciate,
you know what I'm saying?
That, man.
So salam alaikum. Send your family the greetings, and I pray that Allah continues to bless and protect you and your family.
You as well, beloved. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Salam alaikum.